is where we're going to talk, you two are going to talk to Jamaica about your characters. And we're going to talk about how you move, what part of you moves, in generally how you're going to move with your bad feet, and how you enter and how you move around the set, the characteristics of your whole body. So that's what we want us to work on tonight. Give me some words that of your characters.
Pompous, overbearing, suffering, well, arrogant.
Arrogant, yeah.
Arrogance, good.
Manipulative.
Like, how do you see your character as you were sitting down maintain that superiority? Just by the words that are in the script, what's written?
I don't know how anybody else does it,
Yeah.
but I can't develop anything. I can't develop anything until we're semi-off book
Right.
and we have a flow to things.
Right.
I cannot judge. I cannot tell what's going to happen now.
Right.
I'll have a better sense of things 2 weeks before we start,
Right.
before we
Yeah.
open. Right now,
Yeah.
it's nothing.
That's all.
Today, this is just, it's still blocking. I don't have any concept of anything.
Yeah.
I have a generalized idea as far as body tone or voice tone and that opening prance and so on. But as far as understanding how I work with everybody else, that's not going to happen until we're all here at one time and are semi-off book, so we can develop the interaction between everybody. Because right now it's so wooden, it's so concreted. There's no fluidity to anything. But that's the nature of this kind of thing. It doesn't start to gel until a week before we go.
Right.
So I really cannot answer any particular questions. I can't give you any answers because I don't know what it's going to be, because we haven't gotten to that point of things yet.
Tom, I want you to not how you relate to others, but how you relate to yourself.
Is Pozzo?
What is Pozzo like? Pozzo is a cluster of actions. Okay? How do you don't need any of the other characters to deal with your being in this play.
Oh, I
Your
disagree.
physicality of you, your own, how you walk, how, versus Lucky, how you walk, how you move, how you stand, how you slump, has nothing to do with anybody else. It is only you.
Well, I would disagree with that. I see him blowing with the wind. I see him acting one way with Lucky, acting another way with Gogo and Dee Dee. I see him acting another way entirely depending upon circumstances.
But there's only 4 or 5 of those. I mean, there's basically 4 or 5 of those, Tom. So when you're dealing with Lucky, if you have a different posture, you'll have a different posture. You'll have a different stance, you'll have a different head.
What are we talking about? I just lost the thread.
I agree with you.
Of your character is a lot more than just your words. And yes, it is interactive, but that is within the context of you, your character, and who you are in this play. And that tells a lot about how you stand and how you walk. And yes, there is the part of you that relates to Lucky. That's one of your characters. But you can describe it. You can do that now. When you're relating to Gogo and Dee Dee, you can relate to who you are then. You're not going to do this in the last 2 weeks before the show opens. I need to have you do it now. Starting now. You've been doing a lot of it already,
But I'm not going to verbalize it. I don't know how to verbalize it.
then walk for it.
What are you asking me to do? What are you asking me to do?
Right. I'm not sure. I'm just wondering about your character, because that I do understand. I do agree with you, because I know that, like, when you're not, if you're still on book, it's really hard to develop that like how you're going to do something. I totally get it. I guess I just want to understand your character a little bit and what gives you motivation.
I'm going to be over the top.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be overt.
Right.
I'm going to be flailing my hands around a lot. I'm going to be yanking on ropes. Over the top is the best metaphor I can give to you.
Right.
So it's just going to be large, it's going to be expansive,
Which you already naturally do, your very big presence.
and that's how I'm going to approach this.
I don't know, there's not much I can tell you except maybe try this, maybe try that. And if you want some of those things, I can give you those things.
Anything outside the context of the interactions, I just don't see how it can be done. I just don't see how you can do it. I just don't.
Well, we'll figure that out, because I want you to do it. I want us to figure a way to do that without any interaction.
Okay,
To walk across the stage the way Pazzo would walk across the stage, independent of anyone.
then why didn't you say that? Instead of all this bullshit leading up to it.
Because there was bullshit leading up to it. You rejected all the other stuff. You called it all bullshit. It wasn't, but you called it bullshit, which is fine. So I want you to walk across the stage the way Pazzo would walk across the stage.
Big arm movements, waving about, large steps, turns with a flourish. That's what he would do. That's what he has been doing for the past month.
How would he stand and move when he's dealing with Lucky?
As a master does to a slave.
Like, show me.
Is there a Lucky here who I can work with?
Now, do you want us to come in from the,
No?
just, okay.
You come on, and then he prances on, and you amble off.
Ah! Stop! Back. Back. Stop! Turn. Turn. Stop!
What happened to your body movement on that?
I arched over him
Now,
as somebody who's being subjected, or as somebody who's being,
you losing all your hand movement on that? You think?
under these particular circumstances, yes. Because the voice should carry it. You're not going to be threatening him. There's nothing in the play about threatening with hands. There's nothing about threatening. There's kicks, but there's nothing regarding threats as far as body posture is concerned. It's all voice.
I was asking you to move like you would with Lucky. Is it just will be still? It will have body movements, because all of your body is in this. If you don't have body movements, then you have body movements. You always have body movements. So I was just trying to say, okay, with Lucky, how are you gonna be? They're different when you come on. They're shitless. They change their body movements totally when you come on.
So when you're angry at somebody, you're like, ugh. And when you're dealing with those guys, you're like, oh, hey, blah, blah.
But that's not, I don't agree with that.
No?
No,
You want me to get angry?
no. You're resisting, aren't you? You
I don't know
understand.
what you want me to do.
Okay.
God damn it.
Okay, I want you to, what are you going to do with your body when you're relating to Lucky? Not how you move in the room. What is your body? What is your head going to be doing?
When do you want me to do this? It's going to be different every goddamn time. It's going to be different depending upon circumstances. How am I going to give you a generic movement on something which is not generic?
Well,
It is dependent upon the circumstances. It is dependent upon context. When, under what circumstances? I cannot give you a generic, overall, unqualified answer to something
I
that
didn't
must
ask you to
be
be not
qualified
qualified.
at all
I didn't
times.
say that. I didn't say that it couldn't be qualified. I was asking for, you have about 4 or 5 different characters in this play.
That's right. So which
Okay.
one do you want?
I want the character that you're relating to Lucky on. That's one of your characters. You're not yelling at him. You never yell at him. You never yell at him. For example, you never yell. Right? You don't yell. You do, and it is a lot more than voice. It isn't just your voice. It is a lot more than, it is your whole body that's gonna be, now, yeah, each one is gonna be different, but the basic nature of your character and how your general posture in your relation to Lucky and their domination of Lucky in Act 1 is one character. It has a dozen different parts to it. That was what I was asking for, that character. You can give that character in his voice.
Anything about voice?
Okay, no, I said, you have a different voice for Lucky than you do when you're talking to Patsa or
Absolutely.
Didi, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, you have different, that's a different character. That's a different character in you, and then you have a different body tone and texture and feel and movement also.
But sometimes I am sitting down when I am giving him commands. Sometimes I am standing across the stage from him. It all is dependent upon circumstances. It depends upon context. When he is across.
Yes, you're right. You're not right there, Tom. I'm asking you to go to your character. Your voice will be different each time you talk to Lucky, a little bit, depending on the context. But your basic voice to Lucky doesn't change. Your basic voice intent to Lucky there is a range here that is back, forward, turn. You don't go back once and forward the next. There is a voice to that. It's the same with your body. There is a body for Lucky. One body type. There is a body type for Go-Go. There's 5 or 6 different body types there. You have one body type. You showed me a body type for Didi and Go-Go. That's not your body type for walking for 6 miles. You have to do it with your body. But the basic character of your relationship with Lucky senses a way that you are that is different, because not only will your voice, when you go back, my, isn't it a beautiful day, a way different range in your voice, huge range, from this to, oh, isn't this grand, or whatever it's going to be, but it's a big shift in your voice. It's a big shift in your body too. It's different for different parts of that, and when you're sitting down, if you're going to have some of the same movements. It'll be, when you're talking to Lucky, you'll be one person sitting down. When you're talking to them, you're going to be a different person. And it better show up in your body. I'm not saying there's only one. I'm saying there is this type. There is a type for, at least for Lucky, at least for your smarminess to Go-Go and Didi, at least for when you're lecturing, at least for when you're in your own mind, at least in Act 2 when you're blind. How you walk in is different. How you walk. And that's what I wanted to do with Jamaica. That's what I thought I wanted to do with Jamaica. You don't want to do that.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
Don't tell me what I meant. Don't tell me what I meant.
Don't tell me what I meant then. We can fight about this for hours. You just haven't bought my premise.
I don't know what the fuck your premise is.
How else to explain it? Except when, say, stand back there, and in this thing, how are you going to stand when you're ordering Lucky around in that entry speech? And he's over there. How are you going to do that? I don't want you to say a word. I just want you to do it. Without the words. I'll read the words. You do it. You're not moving your legs. You're not moving your body. I want you to say, how are you going to be with Go-Go and Didi when you come on the goddamn stage and present yourself? I want to see you move. How are you going to present yourself? What is your character? What is your character when you are in your smarmy place? Don't just walk around like this. How are you going to move your legs? How are you going to move your butt? How are you going to move your arms? I want to see it, that generic character. It'll be the same every time, it'll be different for each, but the basis of that character is the character. And it isn't just the words. Because you got the words pretty good. They're kind of smarmy words. But it isn't just this. You're just not into it. If you did your lines like this, if you said, oh, I present myself positive. That's how you're presenting your body. I want you to present your body the way you say, I am Pazzo. I want to see that. Not clear yet? You pissed off?
Oh, yeah.
You want to rest for a while?
No.
What do you want to do?
Let's get this over with.
We're going to work this. I mean, I asked her here so we could work on this. And you said, but I can't do anything. I'm sorry. I'm just going to go away. I'm not going to do anything. I can't do it unless I have everything here, and it won't be done until 2 weeks before the fucking production is that. What a bunch of horseshit. You're too good a fucking actor to say that. You're too good. You're as good as there is in this room. You're a really top-notch professional, in my opinion. You're really good. I'm not asking you anything that wouldn't be asked of an actor. Nothing. Zero. If you're pissed off about it, that's your problem, not mine. Okay? We have to work through that, and we are going to work on your body if we have to spend hours on it. Just you and me in the room alone. We don't need anybody else but you and I. Then we can put a thing up here and we can go at it. I don't know how else to do it. I'm not asking this stuff to be small. I'm asking this stuff because I respect what you can do. That's what I want you to do. And I haven't communicated it very well. And you haven't communicated your stuff to me very well. So let's call it off for now.
And I feel like there's a little bit of a motivation or something that he's trying to get at that I'm not exactly sure what it is yet.
But you're the dancer.
Yeah,
You're the professional, not him.
right.
So with your background and knowledge in dance, are there certain movements? Can you show me something?
Yes, that's
for
all I can
example?
say is refine what you already have
Thank you.
going
That's
on.
what I'd like.
Okay, great. And I'll talk to him by myself and figure out what exactly his vision is. Because I'm, so,
Leave it closed.
So, the only thing that I can see is that when you are taking steps and that when you are walking, you are so certain of where you're going all the time. That your foot movements aren't like this, but they're like heel, toe, like you know exactly where you're going. And now,
That's huge. That's huge. That's what I'm looking for as a dancer.
Great.
As a dancer, she has the background and the knowledge to understand that there are some stage movements, some stagecraft movements that are recognized whether you are in ballet or modern or Martha Graham or the theater. They are recognized as movements of dominance, submissiveness, etc. She's the one with the knowledge, not me. I want to see what she has to do, and then I can incorporate. Please.
Okay, so what we're doing is just figuring out certain movements, because right now the only thing that I can see that I can do is refine what he is already doing and giving him a motivation to work with that and see if it works and see if it doesn't work.
What you've already done is huge, the heel
Okay.
and toe.
Okay,
The heel and toe, I wouldn't have even thought of that.
okay.
But that is a mark of authority.
Mhm.
That is a mark, that's what I'm looking for.
Right.
Okay?
And so it is helpful to see you move, but from what I've already seen is the heel toe. And also what you're already naturally doing is that you're sticking your chest out. So your shoulders are back and your chest is out, which means you see a lot of people who are very sure of themselves walking around like this. They're very sure of themselves. But it isn't so much as a forward movement as it is the weight is in the back of you. It's almost like you're sitting. It's almost like you're sitting and you're just like watching everything around you happen, and you're just like, yeah, you know, whatever happens, you are on top of it. And that doesn't mean that you necessarily have that much of a bend in your knees, but that helps. That will help you if you choose to do that.
Would it help to have the toes upward like that? Is that a difference? Heel and toe, toes out, as opposed to straight on? Straight on seems almost militaristic, whereas this is more of a strut. Would you agree that that's what you do with here when in
Yeah,
dance?
if that feels good, and if you find motivation to do that, try both ways. That's all I would say is this is experimenting. You just have to try it. Find if that gives you motivation to do what you need to do, and that's exactly it too. With your hands behind your back,
Okay,
because that pushes the chest out even more.
okay.
So here you are, and also think about maybe chin up or chin down, depending how it is. And so that's you. That's possible. That's something that you can work with. Now, when you're working with Lucky, what I saw is this kind of powering over.
Mhm.
And even though I understand where that, I get it. To me, you can try it both ways. To me, when I see someone standing over, it's kind of like you're caring for someone. It's almost like you're caring for them. So think of it that way. Like I always envision picking up a child, and especially in this sort of a posture where you're compromising your entire spine for something or for someone. So whether that's good or bad, work with that and see what that's like. Because that may be like, oh, that may send the message that you want. That, oh, I care for you, but the tone of voice is like this.
So
And
you-
so you have that authority.
So-
Or,
So if Lucky is there and if I do this, does that send an instinctive message to the audience that I am being dominant or that I am attempting to succor somebody? Which one is it? Which one, or trying to,
we'll have to try it and see. That's the
Okay.
only thing. It's just experimenting because these are just ideas, and until we put them into motion with that character, and depending on what scene it is and what situation you're dealing with, then we won't know if that is a good way to go or not. You know, maybe you talk to Lucky and you look down. You know, maybe you still maintain that upwardness, but you're looking down at him and talking to him like that. I'm not sure if that's going to get across. And I guess for me, knowing your characters and knowing the motivation to where you're going, that will give the movement. Because if you want to say, in this instance, hey, I care about you, but I'm also dominating you, then this would be a better stance. But, you know, if you're saying, you know, I'm not really caring about Lucky, then, you know, this is a better stance. With maybe moments of, oh, you know, oh, I care, you know. It
because
depends.
in modern dance, for example, Martha Graham. Martha Graham has certain set motions that convey a specific emotion to the
Right.
audience by
Right.
what she's doing. One of them is the clutch.
Yes.
Clutch.
And that's, yes.
And this is hurt, I'm in pain, something has happened to me,
Yes.
and I'm drawing myself in, I'm drawing in air, and I'm emphasizing that I'm showing something has happened.
Exactly. 'Cause
Okay.
she's physically making her body feel pain.
Bingo.
Yeah, exactly. And so that is what's giving the motivation for the movement, is you are physically doing that contraction in that Martha,
What are you
in
in
that
pain?
style.
What?
When are you in pain?
In the second act. In the second act, I'm in pain the entire time. Subtly, what's really going on in that character's mind. And that's what I need. I need those subtle cues, the toes out, the heel and toe. That was a huge revelation.
So perfect. So then that is what that generic character is, right? That you were talking about. That generic character that's how it is. This is your generic character. And then every situation after that, I mean, whatever you find yourself in, that's when people will notice that something different is happening, when you are doing something different with your body. Because if you are always like this, if you always see somebody walking around like this, and then you see them walk around like this, you're like, whoa, something is going on with that person.
Let me ask you a
You know?
question, Jamaica.
Uh-huh.
When he's describing his smarminess, he kind of did like what a standard person would do if they were going to be smarmy,
Okay.
with his arms out like this.
Mhm.
Is there a different way to do that? I mean, he's big, he's a big presence on the stage. He's the center of the stage
Mhm.
for more than half of the first act.
Right. I would say.
What else, how else could he move for that?
I would say just like anytime you move in, you know, in a play that you have intention every single movement. So every time you're moving your arm, there is no this. It is a movement and you follow it through all the way to the end. You know, just in exercises, you can take your hand and bring it, you know, to your shoulder and let it go out and all the way to the tip of the finger.
That,
So like, it's everything.
is that what that particular movement does from the shoulder outwards? This would be indicative of, like, see, that's what I need to cue in on.
Okay.
That's what I need to know, is that what are these movements that have been part of theater and dance for hundreds of years, that whether they are spoken or they are simply subliminal, that the audience knows, this means something, that means something,
Yeah.
this means something. This conveys an unspoken subliminal message to the audience. That's, as far as movement is concerned, that's what I'm going to rely upon you
And
for.
yeah, and that's what it is, and that's why I'm here, and that's why movement is such a huge part of this, because a lot of these movements are going to be subliminal. You're going to move in this way, and people are going to generate a feeling from that. And the only way that you know how to move that way, the only way you know how to move that way is through the motivation and the feeling that you get from the script. And what he's telling you to do and how that makes you feel like, okay, how you relate to the characters and how you relate to yourselves. And
Can he-
all I'm doing is refining what you already do.
Can he not do any of that big arm movements and dominate the stage?
Yeah, definitely.
Because I
But
guess
arms-
one of my
arms-
problems of the standard person
Right.
would say, that's how I control the stage, with my arms like this. Maybe there's a different way for this pazzo to be in control and be in more control than this. I don't know. And that's, so that when he comes on and he's talking to Gogo and Dee Dee, more than once through that, even when he's sitting down, I think there's another way to present that concept, that intention of control and glad handing.
Working through this, okay, stop me and say, try it this way.
Okay.
Try this means of using my arms or walking, okay? Because within the body, the context of the moment,
Right.
I would need your insights
Okay.
as to how am I best to convey this to an audience.
Yeah, great, awesome.
And I don't want to put you on the spot right now, because this is more artificial than the stage itself.
Right.
But once we are in the context of a scene, if you can find a way, if you can see a way that I can convey a particular hidden emotion or a sense of the script in a better way, then I beg you to tell me.